Hey STEMheads! Today we're visiting the Great Salt Lake, one of the wildest, weirdest, and most important ecosystems in North America. I teamed up with biologists Jim Van Leeuwen and Connor Simon to learn about tiny creatures with a huge impact, brine shrimp. This video is part 1 of our 3-part series about the Great Salt Lake, so make sure to stay tuned. Let's dive in. Hey Jim.
Hey Lee.
Hey Connor.
Hello.
Thanks for taking the time to meet with STEM heads and educate STEM heads like me about the Great Salt Lake and the cool STEM stuff you guys are doing out here.
Glad to have you.
We're excited.
So first and foremost, what are we doing out here today?
Well, we're taking you out on a condensed version of what we do on a bi-weekly basis, sampling the Great Salt Lake for water quality stuff and nutrients, all those parameters we need to know in order to understand the ecosystem. So we go out and sample this periodically because things change.
Awesome. So why are we harvesting brine shrimp in the first place?
There is a demand for brine shrimp and its use in aquaculture in Southeast Asia and South America. Our table shrimp that we eat, a lot of them are fed brine shrimp.
So I know that brine is like a salty liquid. So does that mean brine shrimp drinks salt water?
I see where you're going there, thinking of like pickles and things.
Exactly.
But so brine shrimp, like a lot of animals, need water. So they are intaking salt water, but they actually have pumps, specialized pumps inside of them. They've adapted to saline environments so that they get their fresh water through basically removing salt internally and then utilizing that water, and then they excrete salt. So they're not necessarily drinking brine and using it directly, they're just purifying it internally.
Dang, I was kind of hoping it would be salt shrimp.
That's fair.
So where in the lake are we going to find brine shrimp? Like, is it everywhere or is it just in specific parts?
Everywhere in the lake proper. In the surrounding wetlands, not so much.
How did the brine shrimp end up in the Great Salt Lake?
So it's assumed that this brine shrimp cyst came in on bird feathers. And this species of brine shrimp came from San Francisco Bay, came to the Great Salt Lake and other lakes around the country. And their cysts got dropped off and they reproduce really quick.
Okay, so basically the San Francisco birds took the brine,
Their eggs,
yeah, and they just spread it everywhere.
everywhere the birds went. And the cysts themselves are very durable. I sometimes joke around that they came from Mars, like they could have came from a meteor. Probably not.
Not that I'm complaining, but why does this lake smell so bad at times?
So we get that question a lot. It's not the lake that stinks, it's the shore. This lake has so much organic decomposition because it is so highly productive for a saline lake. A lot of that end up on the shore. However, humans contribute to that with wastewater. So keep that in mind.
So based on your guys' sampling, do you believe the lake will dry in 5 years like people say it will?
Connor and I are not hydrologists, we are biologists, and we do know what water conditions, environmental conditions this wildlife needs. Now, if we didn't get 2 good years of water, things wouldn't be very happy at all. A lot of microbialites would be exposed. Brine shrimp would have been exceeding their salinity tolerance if we wouldn't have got those 2 good water years. There's a window in which they can tolerate the salinity.
Interesting. Thank you guys for the wonderful interview. But is it time to go out to the Great Salt Lake and get some sampling?
Let's do it.
Awesome. Well, he was right. It doesn't smell anymore. I had no idea that these tiny shrimp could be so important for the Great Salt Lake. These creatures are smaller than my pinky fingernail, but help a lake the size of Rhode Island thrive. So Jim, what kind of nutrients are you testing for?
So we're collecting water samples to analyze the water for nutrients that are important for algae, like nitrates, nitrites, ammonia. Those are the big ones.
It's like oxygen, specific conductance, or like it's another analog to salinity, pH, and temperature. And then the lab that we send all our samples to uses this information as well, which is what I'm transferring right here. So this will all get sent to the lab that processes the samples, and they kick back what type of nutrients are actually in the water that we're measuring these parameters.
So then we take those samples back to our lab and enumerate those with subsamples. So essentially, we're subsampling the lake, the whole lake, with 17 sites because we can't count every drop of water, right? Then we take it back to the lab, subsample them again in that jar. So we know the original volume that we filtered, right? So we break it down into juveniles and cysts and males and females and pregnant females and non-pregnant females. Then we have a good spectrum of, at that time, what the demographics are with shrimp.
So you basically double subsample.
Correct. But it works.
I won't doubt you. So how salty is this lake compared to the ocean?
The lake is very salty. So when you look at most oceans, this is on average. You have 35 grams per liter of salt. Okay, so that's like ocean salinity, around 3-ish%, give or take. Here at the Great Salt Lake, we're right now around 112 grams per liter.
Whoa.
Almost 4 times saltier currently than the ocean. And that's in the south arm. So that is south of the causeway that divides the lake into 2 halves.
Wow.
The north arm is double that, if not more.
I came here today to learn about shrimp, but I left with a whole new appreciation for how the biology of the Great Salt Lake works together. This lake matters, and it needs our help.
Well, what's it going to be like in the future with the climate? The drier areas are going to get drier, and the wetter areas are going to get wetter. So it's going to be extremes of climates. So here we're on the drier side, so forecast with global warming, it's going to get drier.
Huge thanks to Jim and Connor who let me tag along. Hit that like button if you learned something new.